What's up, guys? Back with me. We got Sabrina Teenage Witch Season 1, Episode 8, Magic Joel. Okay, so this episode starts off with Salem the cat coming into Sabrina's room, and he's like, hey, there's a call from Harvey, but it's actually him. It's actually Salem the cat tricking Sabrina, and she actually buys it. But until she realizes it's Salem the cat, and she's like, hey, yeah, you shouldn't do that. So yeah, so after the opening, she's like, hey, I'm she's looking at some like jobs, and she's like, hey, I could be like a magic assistant. So a guy says, hey, I want to be a magic assistant, but the other guy named Joel, named the episode Magic Joel, he's like, I only want a lady, so, yeah. So Sabrina comes in and he's like, hey, do you know magic? So she pretends that she just says abracadabra, uses her powers, and turns a small apple into a big apple. So he's like, hey, you're hired. So, yeah, so Sabrina's finally got a job again. And this time it's not from, yeah, anyway, not for money and all stuff. So, yeah, so she's like, so yeah, so one of you know, like Zelda's old friends comes over, comes and calls her and says, hey, he's coming over, and yeah, so she has to get ready for that. So Joel shows Sabrina everything that he's got, like, and he even shows her a trick where she's like stuck in a box, but then he attempts to put himself in the box. She hurts her foot, and then she says, "That's good," and that's what he does. So yeah, so so yeah, so Harvey is really clueless in this episode. He is very clueless at everything. That's the really running joke in this episode. That in one scene, Sabrina's like, he's like, hey, do you want to go to the slicery? She's like, no, I'm doing a magic act. Then he asks her again, and she's like, didn't you hear me? I'm doing a magic act, bro. So yeah, he's very clueless in this episode, and even in one other scene, he's like, I didn't know Sabrina was in the magic act, dude. You really need. He's very clueless in this episode. It's a running joke that Harvey is very clueless. That's the running joke of this episode. That Sabrina tried to tell him that she was in a magic act, that she was the assistant, but he did not. He did not hear her because he kept asking, and so yeah. So Sabrina attempts to do a trick with Joel. She accidentally turns Joel invisible with her powers, and he's like, oh, this is great. Him being invisible is great. He can do everything. And he also likes Sabrina, which she tries to, like tell him that they're just friends, and she likes Harvey. But he's like, hey, Harvey didn't even know you were in the magic act or something. So, yeah, running joke of the episode that Harvey does not. That Harvey's very clueless. So, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, she she calls in Hilda. Yeah, Aunt Hilda, not Aunt Zelda. And Hilda's like, "Hey, here's some things. You just gotta spray it on the kid, and he becomes visible again." And she tries to spray it on him, but it doesn't work. And 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 he keeps being invisible. And he keeps being invisible. So yeah. So yeah. So Hilda's friend does come over. I mean Zelda's friend, sorry. Zelda's friend does come over. And Hilda kinda likes him. And she pretends to be she puts rain on her head to, you know, like mock Zelda, and you know, and yeah, so yeah, so she does that, and 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 so 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 Zelda's friend does admit that he has feelings for her, and she's like, and yeah, so she uses a simply force spell to to you know uh, to make him fall, to not make him leave, and Tails like, what's going on here? And they're like, slippery floor. Yeah, so Harvey does come over to see Sabrina, and he's like, oh, yeah, let's hang out. And she's like, cool, but, but Joel's there, and he's like, do you not really like me? And she's like, I like you as a friend, and yeah, so she does eventually use the spell, use the the powder to turn him back normal, so people can now see him again. And she and Harvey head out, wrapping this episode. Okay, so this episode portrayed Harvey as, most clueless. Sorry for laughing, but it's kinda, it portrayed him as most clueless, because Sabrina gave him two notes actually, telling him that she was in a magic act, and he did not figure that out. So yeah, and Joel, he was a pretty good guy. He was a magic guy. So yeah, so yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. You guys have a wonderful one. I'll have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next. Sabrina the Teenage Witch.